And a fight that I don't think is all that controversial has come under a little scrutiny about how close it was. So let's talk about it.
Effective striking grappling shall be considered the first priority of round assessments. Effective aggressiveness is a plan B, and should not be considered unless the judge does not see any advantage in the effective striking grappling realm. Cage ring control, plan C, should only be needed when all other criteria are 100% even for both competitors. This will be an extremely rare occurrence.
So UFC 318 just went by. It was a great fight card. In the main event, we had Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway, Dustin's last fight. Shout out to the Diamond. I'm a big fan of his work. When he beat Conor that second fight, loved it. But we're not here to talk about memories. We're here to talk about the fight. So, to be honest with you all, I thought the fight was pretty clear-cut who won. I thought Max's body shots were just some of the most active strikes in a lot of the rounds. But let's look at it like from a judge point of view here. So damage is always going to trump everything. Effective striking, effective grappling. Wasn't a ton of grappling in this fight in neither round. So it kind of went down to the effective striking here. And it wasn't to a point where it was pretty even in any rounds, to be honest with you. So let's go through it. The first round, easy. That goes to Max. Max hurts him with a nice shot. Up top, Max is looking fast. His body shots are really, really good. Dustin's controlling the ring, but we don't get into that until everything is even. So that's not even a criteria that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the striking. And Max is winning it easily. So that's no-brainer. Max wins the first round. Second round, we see this is kind of a round that's been in contention, right? So we had Max land a beautiful combination that ends up dropping Dustin. Just a beautiful combination. Dustin was in trouble, but he was never out of the fight. So he got back to his feet. He got dropped again, actually, but he got back to his feet, got back into his stance, and proceeded. But obviously, since that point on, Max is winning the round pretty easily, right? So after that, Dustin lands very, very late in the second round. Dustin lands a very good little check right hook over the temple and drop Max bad, really, really bad. Where I feel like a couple more follow-up shots, the shot that Dustin missed could have ended the fight, to be honest with you. Now, if I am a judge, I'm put in a tough situation here because Dustin's shot was a lot more devastating because Max couldn't really recover. And as he got back to the stool, he was wobbling. However, I actually would have gave that round to Max. I thought it was significant of dropping him twice, and then the ground and pound lended itself to more damage over time than Max. Now, I can see the argument there for Dustin because it was pretty severe, but he only got 8 seconds to work with that knockdown. He did some ground and pound. He jumped a guillotine that wasn't successful, and then he went to ground and pound. But personally, I would have gave that to Max, but I can see how people can get out of Dustin. Third round, Max comes back. Dustin's trying to stalk him a little bit, but Max is landing the cleaner body shots, and he's circling and throwing that little back kick. I get that round all day to Max. I think that was pretty clear cut. Now the fourth round is up to contention. I see a judge here gave Dustin that round. I honestly, when watching it in live time and watching it the second time, I gave it to Max. I thought he was a little bit more busier with the body shots again. Dustin had a hard time like closing the distance because Max, his speed, the circling, and a lot of those turning kicks was really keeping Dustin at bay. However, I can see the idea of giving Dustin some of those rounds because his jab was pretty nice and it's pretty effective. But to be honest with you, I gave Max that round as well because I thought Max was a busier fighter, and the damage and the fear of the striking, the cumulative damage and the fear of the striking gave Max that round. Now the fifth round, I think it was a pretty good toss-up towards the end. However, once they got into that 10 seconds point to the ground showdown, I thought Max stole around there because his striking was so effective that it led to a grappling exchange that wasn't very effective. And I thought a couple of those shots hurt him. As Dustin said, he said, hit me with a clean shot, and I started wrestling. To be honest with you, I gave the fight 50-45 for Max in real time. However, I can see the argument for 49-46. Great fight, but I don't think there was any debate on this one. Clear cut winner for Dustin. I mean, excuse me, for Max. Max Holloway won that all day. No argument here. Congratulations to Max, and good job on a great career to Dustin. I'll talk to you guys later in the next one.